Do you guys know what this is? This is a plant. Do you know what this is? Unless you live in your dad's basement. This is the sun. You know what? Let's get straight to the point. The sun is the most important contribution to Earth and is what gives life to plants and organisms. This is what gives energy or vitality that feeds to plants, which provides energy to other living organisms. Energy used by green plants, algae, and other certain bacteria trap sunlight to convert it to chemical bond energy. This process, otherwise known, is called photosynthesis. All right, well, that's quite it, really. Huh? What? There, there, there's more? Oh, I thought it was that simple. Well, okay, time to explain photosynthesis more in depth. Okay, well, according to the higher ups, I need to explain photosynthesis to a bunch of nerdy kids, and I have to pay my editor some more. So, are you guys ready? Great! Let's get started. The only organisms or inorganic substances that are able to obtain energy from sunlight are autotrophs, while the rest, including humans, are heterotrophs. Autotrophism can either be chemotropic, which is known as obtaining energy from organic substances, or phototropic, known as obtaining energy from sunlight. Of all autotrophs, like plants, algae, and some phototrophic and chemotrophic bacteria, the plants are the most significant out of all the autotrophs. Plants are phototrophic since they are feeding on sunlight and carbon dioxide and soil minerals. Plants are significant because they produce their own organic molecules such as glucose and ATP, which heterotrophs use as a source of energy. So you can think plants throwing up sugar for heterotrophs to eat, or something along the lines like that. And what does glucose and ATP are used for? Well, if you paid attention, they're used for energy for nearly all living organisms, including us. Think of it as this. Glucose is used to store and transport, and ATP is used to power life process inside cells. Without photosynthesis, phototrophs will perish, ultimately leading to the death of heterotrophs. Photosynthesis starts in the leaves and the roots of a plant, with the leaves collecting solar energy and carbon dioxide while the roots are used as agents of water and other minerals. Thus, this helps the plant to produce sugar and oxygen by using the leaves as an exit. Okay, I think that's all. Huh? Wait, what? There, there's still more. Oh, okay. You guys know plants have chloroplast, right? Good. If you didn't know, too bad. Chloroplast has an abundant pigment called chlorophyll, which reflects green light and then results in the green colored plants. There are two types of chlorophyll, chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. Chlorophyll A converts light energy into chemical energy, while chlorophyll B is more inclined to absorbing light energy towards green wavelength. Another pigment present in the chloroplast are the carotenoid, which absorbs green and blue parts of the light spectrum. Because of this, plants that are rich in carotenoid appear yellow, orange, or red. Aside from chlorophylls and carotenoids, thylakoid membranes also contain different protein complexes, such as photosystem 1, photosystem 2, and ATP synthesis. Surrounding the thylakoids is the stroma, composed of enzymes necessary in assembling carbon molecules. Chloroplasts, of course, play a big role in photosynthesis because the light energy that strikes the thylakoid membrane stimulate the chlorophyll inside it, causing the pigments to lose electrons. These electrons then enter the electron transport train, which fuels the phosphorylation of the ADP to ATP, converting light energy to chemical energy. Photosynthesis can be represented by this equation in the screen. In this reaction, we can see carbon dioxide and water as the raw materials in the process, while sugar, or otherwise known as glucose, and oxygen are the products. However, it is important to note that for the plants to yield these products, photosynthesis has to undergo two sets of reactions. The first stage involves light-dependent reactions, while the second includes reactions that form the Calvin cycle. Stage 1, light-dependent reactions. In this stage, photosynthesis reactions dependent on light occur. As mentioned previously, the light energy that hits chloroplasts stimulate the beginning of photosynthesis. These reactions can be divided into several episodes. So for episode A, when sunlight strikes the thylakoid, its light energy excites the chlorophyll pigment in photosystem 2. This occurs because two electrons in the chlorophyll molecule are boosted into higher energy levels upon being struck by a photon, which is the unit of intensity of light. With more energy, these electrons then leave the molecule. For episode B, while photon energy excites the electrons in the pigment molecule, enzymes in the thylakoid use the said energy to split a water molecule apart. This photolysis then yields the following products. One, where two electrons, which replace the electron excitation in the previous episode. Two, an oxygen atom that combines with another oxygen atom to create a O as a waste product. And two, positively charged hydrogen ions. This can be interpreted by this equation on the screen. For episode C, the electrons that have left the pigment molecule contain so much energy that they need to be carried by electron transport molecules, making up an electron transport train. They then get passed from molecule to molecule, creating enough energy to produce more hydrogen ions into the thylakoid. For episode D, because their energy is already used up in the previous stage, the two electrons reabsorb energy from the light absorbed in the photosystem 1. After passing through photosystem 1, the two electrons continue to pass down to another electron transport train. In episode E, with the help of enzymes, the electrons are passed again from one molecule to another until they reach a compound called nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate, or NADP. The electrons in NADP react, turning the latter into an oxidized state. When paired with a hydrogen ion, NADP yields the reducing agent NADPH, a molecule needed in carbohydrate synthesis, the Calvin cycle. This episode can be interpreted by this equation on the screen. The difference between the great connection of hydrogen ions and the positive charge in the thylakoid creates a chemiosmotic gradient which fuels the hydrogen to traverse through the thylakoid membrane to the stroma. The enzyme ATP synthase helps in this crossover in phosphorylation to produce ATP. For episode G, after photon energy has been stored in bonds of NADPH and ATP, the first stage of photosynthesis is finally concluded. Light energy is successfully converted into chemical energy. Stage 2, Calvin cycle. The second stage of photosynthesis, other, otherwise known as the light independent phase, involves the Calvin cycle. It is named after its discoverer, an American biochemist, Melvin Calvin. First stage occurs in the thylakoid membrane, whereas the Calvin cycle takes place in the stroma. Here, chemical in NADPH and H2P from the light reactions in the first stage is utilized to make glucose. It has three major phases: carbon fixation, reduction, and regeneration. So for phase one, carbon fixation, the carbon dioxide that has entered from the stroma with the help of the enzyme combines with a 5-carbon compound, ribulose biphosphate, to to form an unstable 6-carbon compound, which is promptly broken down to 2,3-PG. Phase 2, reduction. The ATP and NADPH from the light reactions supply energy to 3-PG, cause the formation of glycerate 3-phosphate, some of which form glucose. Others proceed to phase 3. So for phase 3 regeneration, using the energy from ATP, the remaining G3P molecules fuel the formation of RUBP to restart the Calvin cycle. So there you have it. Now, this is photosynthesis. So, what did we learn here? Well, you guys learned photosynthesis. That's pretty much it.